Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our entitled parents. In today's episode, your kid clearly can't swim, lady. Is my mom, F38, right in treating me, F19, like this? Feeling guilty for moving out of toxic family household. 10 years old sibling might go to care because of me. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Your kid clearly can't swim, lady. So I've worked as lifeguard on and off for the last several years, which means I've dealt with my fair share of parents. Some good, some bad, and others just awful. This is a story about an awful mother while I worked for a mouse with white gloves. Not the park, but their hotels. So we have water slides at each pool at our resorts, and the one I worked at leads straight to the pool. This causes issues for kids who aren't strong swimmer because it creates a constant moving tide. We always advise a life jacket if you're unsure of your child's swimming ability. On this spring day, a child decided to go down the slide. Nothing unusual. The issue was this kid could not handle the water current at the end of slide. This kid was straight up struggling. My coworker, doing this sensible thing, jumps in and saves the kid. The mother of the kid comes over and immediately starts yelling. She says my kid was completely fine and did not need saving. But I'll let you know that kid had no business not wearing a life jacket, and everyone who saw agreed. My coworker just sucked it up and apologized. The more I read these, the more I realize parents probably just want their kids to die. It's their arrogance and pride. These parents don't want to admit their lack of supervision, and parenting led to these situations. Seriously, parents yelling at lifeguards for saving their kids is actually pretty common. The parents of these kids were probably told when they were children that whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and that's how they raise their children. I almost drowned when I was 11 after my cousin shoved me off a dock without warning. To her credit, she had never been to that lake before and was overly excited to see me and play in the water. All these years later, I remember how terrified I was as I struggled to find the surface of the water. My uncle did that to me too, except he was way older than 11 and definitely drunk. Oddly enough, for the longest time I falsely remembered him pulling me out, but it was actually him just standing there while my dad pulled me out. If I had been your coworker, I would not have apologized. It is absolute irresponsible to let your kid get into a situation like this, and she and everyone else should be more than thankful that there are lifeguards around who are paying attention and react quickly, even if a situation turns out to be not as bad as it seemed at the beginning. I live at the coast, and the danger of water and a child's ability to swim properly is underestimated so many times. Is my mom, F38, right in treating me, F19, like this? I'm 19F, and I just moved back in with my mom after being at my grandma's for a year. My mom kicked me out because she didn't want me to order DoorDash without feeding everyone in the house. I was 18 and was sharing the food with her kids, but that one time I ordered myself a milkshake. She told me not to eat the food in the house anymore, but a couple days later asked me to wash the dishes I hadn't ate from. All I did was ask her calmly, "If I can't eat your food, what makes you think it's fair to make me wash your dishes?" She lost her shit and asked my grandma to take me in, or I was going to be on the streets, and she didn't care. My grandma kicked me out because when I first moved in with her, her bedroom, I was meant to sleep in, was absolutely covered in trash and broken garbage bags full of dirty clothes. She slept on the couch. I cleaned it up to make it livable for me, as I'm not a dirty person. After she knew I cleaned it up, she had been threatening to take her room back and I'd have to leave. She finally ordered her some new curtains, bedroom decor, and got rid of me so she can have her dream room. Now my mother, who offered for me to live here, is causing me trouble again. Before I left, it was hell for a plethora of petty reasons, and now it's no different even though she said it would be. I've been actively job hunting since my first day here at her place and had no luck. This is her response. My mother has stopped allowing me to eat food in the house. I'm not allowed to consume anything from the kitchen unless it's water. I used to steal food, but she has cameras in her kitchen, living room, backyard, front yard, facing the kids' bedrooms and bathroom that she watches like it's television, so she caught me. threatened to take me to a shelter if I touched her food again. I must feed myself, but like I said, I'm jobless, and she knew that when she accepted me back home. My long-distance boyfriend, 19, gets me DoorDash every other day when he can. And even then, I'm not allowed to eat in the house. I have to eat it outside at the neighborhood park no matter the weather or how early it is. Or even if it's dark, there's no lights at the park, so it's pitched black out there. My boyfriend works long hours, so sometimes he works till 1 a.m. If he offers me something after he gets off work, I have to decline it because I'm not allowed to order anything or leave her house after 10 p.m. Sometimes he can't afford to for days at a time, and I'm left hungry. I'm not angry at him at all for that. I'm more than thankful for the financial help and emotional support he provides. I do hate having to depend on him to eat, but I'm trying for jobs and he's all I got. I never asked him to, he just offers, and at first I would tell him now, but I got so hungry I couldn't say no. I am expected to clean my mother and 2 younger sisters, 13 plus 11, dishes, and even help prepare the food, but not allowed to eat. Rarely she'll order takeout, and then when everyone's finished eating, I'm allowed a tiny portion of food, the smallest drumstick out of the KFC bucket, and 4 French fries. I don't know if I'm just being greedy or an asshole, but it feels like I'm being fed scraps like a dog. After her doing that twice, I asked her why I wasn't allowed to eat. She said, because you don't eat unless you work. I'm starving you into getting a job. She knows I've been job hunting since I got here. I keep her updated on the places, interviews, the follow-up emails, and all the rejections. As unfortunate as it is for me to go hungry, I understand her thought process. 2 weeks ago, she started a new rule. I'm not allowed to stay in the house or around the premises of the house if no one's home. I'm not allowed a set of keys or the code to the house security system. I have to wake up with her when she gets up from work and then leave out of the house when she leaves for work. I'm not allowed back in until my sister walks home from school and opens the door with her house keys. I don't have a car to sit in case of the weather, so when it rains or it's cold, I'm just kid, soaking wet and shivering. If I need to use the bathroom, I have to walk to the nearest gas station and use the bathroom. Luckily, it's open to the public. Today, I almost bled myself, had to walk to my sister's school and get the keys to unlock the door, clean myself up, and then give them back to her. My mom has a Ring doorbell and a million cameras all over the house, pointed to the kids' bedrooms and bathroom to watch everything. She has had it that way since I was still in school and had my own room. I'm also not allowed to talk or text anyone, including my boyfriend she knows helps me eat because otherwise I'd actually starve, on the phone I bought and pay the bill on. Anytime she catches me on the phone, she threatens to pack my bags up and drop me off at a homeless shelter and leave me there, which she can do. I'm a legal adult and she doesn't have to let me stay in her house. But how crazy is that? Not being allowed to stay in the home you were allowed to live in again, not being able to stay dry and warm from the weather, not being able to eat, not being able to shower and change my pad when I've had an accident, not being able to talk on my phone, not being allowed to have a comfortable place to sit or charge my phone. Before she started to kick me out, I'd get up and go job hunting and only come back until I had to pee or needed water/food. Job hunting is a full-time job, and I've always treated it like such. She doesn't care though. Right now I'm sitting on her porch. She's already complained that I need to get off her tiny. It's the size of a porta potty, literally, porch. I told her that it's starting to rain. She said she doesn't care. So even though I'm still gonna be wet on this porch, at least it's close to the house. I also use this porch to charge my phone and plug in my heating pad when it's whether it's cold out, but she still doesn't care. I apply for jobs online, which doesn't require for me to be outside, but she says I'm not allowed to sit in her house. We live in the digital age and paper applications are extremely rare to be an option. I've walked to every single business and shop within a 20-mile radius of the house, whilst her and my sisters sat in the car and followed behind me while talking shit about me being a lazy failure in life. I'd go in and ask if they were hiring, and they'd laugh at me and tell me to apply online on their website in this tone. That's what I had been doing, but my mom thinks it's 1992 and that places have paper applications. I tried to explain that to her, but she didn't want to hear it and still doesn't. I've been applying every day on my phone for hours while I'm stuck out here. I've applied to everything from janitor, fast food, to flight attendant, warehouses, and cabin agent for airlines at the local airport. I've done interviews she offers to drive me to and tell her about it afterward. I keep her updated on everything. I need to know I'm not crazy and feeling frustrated here. I'm aware I'm a legal adult and she's not required to help me at all, but this is starting to feel unjust to me. This is bad treatment, right? Or am I just spoiled and don't know it? This is normal? What do I do to make this better? How can I fix this? Edit. I literally just got off the phone with a Sam's Club recruiter, and he told me he's going through with my application process and welcome to the team. Does that mean I got it? Or that I'm just being accepted to physically interview? This isn't normal. It's abuse. It's outright psychopathic. Appears to be multi-generational bats hit insanity. No, this is not acceptable and your mother is terribly abusive. Your grandma doesn't sound great either. It could be generational abuse/trauma. I don't live with my parents anymore and haven't for years. But when we lived under the same roof, even if we had disagreements, my mom always made sure I had plenty to eat. I'm sorry you're going through this. Is there anyone else you can stay with? Friends? Boyfriend? It sounds like the safest thing to do in your situation is to leave your mom's home. I would contact youth shelter organizations in your area that might be able to offer you some temporary support as well. This is not normal. Your mom is abusive. I don't have any friends and my boyfriend lives across the country with his parents still. You know, your mom is not treating you right. Call the domestic violence hotline 800-799-7233 and ask for advice in the nearest women's shelter that you can go to. For food, find out where the closest food bank is. Another source is the Salvation Army. Also check into DV counseling once you get settled. Take care. Please speak to a social worker of some sort. Feeling guilty for moving out of toxic family household. 10 years old sibling might go to care because of me. This is very long and I'm honestly tired at this point. 10 days ago, my mom asked for my bank card. I said no and tried to avoid arguments as much as I could. She was very persistent, so I offered cash, yet she still wasn't happy. She threatened to destroy/cut up my stuff as discipline if I didn't give her the card. Well, it did escalate. I was in my bedroom with my sibling when she came into the room with a kitchen knife. Long story short, she fought me for my phone costs. I was calling the police, whilst my brother took the knife and put it away in the kitchen. She told the police I went crazy, and I'm the one with the knife. Luckily, the camera in my room recorded it all, so the police knew I was telling the truth. She got taken to the mental health hospital and is still living there. It's also important to mention that I've officially been a carer for her, and by proxy, a carer for my sibling. She has schizophrenia and refuses to take medicine, shower, or remotely anything that she should be doing. Our relationship is not the best as she doesn't respect me and talks down to me like a little child. I'm in my late 20s and she doesn't want me to work or even get married, despite meeting my partner about marriage. Point is, if I leave, I know carers will look after my mom. She's also capable of it herself, somewhat. She's just very reliant on me to do every single thing for her. Now the problem is, if I leave the home, my sibling won't be able to live at home, and I can't take him with me. It's simply not an option. My older brother, on the other hand, is in a position to look after him. He is married with no kids, has 2 bedrooms. Since childhood, my relationship with my older brother has been horrible and abusive, verbally and physically. He's very manipulative, which is why I haven't told him I'm leaving yet. I'm sort of scared to, because of the way he will be. I have told my mom, though, but I don't think it's even registered that I'm serious about leaving. If my older brother doesn't care for him, he'll go into the care system, and everyone would blame me. I feel so guilty and think it's easier for everyone if I stayed at home. I have a lot on my mind, so I think this is more collecting my thoughts/venting. If anyone has words of advice, I'd appreciate it. This isn't your fault. You do the best you can. But being in an abusive home where people are attacked with knives is worse than being in foster care. What if you had died? Then what? Let your brother go live with your other brother and do the best you can to maintain a relationship. If you were someday able to take him in, that would be lovely, but not a requirement. Posting this under top so OP sees it. When you have problems talking with your older brother, text him. It's much less stressful for both of you, and the worst that can happen is him saying no. Listen, if you can't take your brother, it is better for him to be in the system. Your mother and your brother are both a physical danger to this poor child. If people blame you, ask them where the hell they were in caring for him, or making sure you had a safe space to care for him. They don't get to blame you and do nothing to actually help you. You are doing the best you can. If you stay and your mother escalates, you'll be no good to your brother at all if she severely harmed or killed you. Even if he has to be in foster care for a bit, you're alive. You can work with child services to see him and ensure he's being cared for and keep a relationship with him. That is much more beneficial to him than you not being around anymore at all. If your sibling goes into care, it's the fault of the parents. Please don't leave your 10-year-old sibling with Big Bro if he's that toxic. If you can't care for them, it's better that they're in a care home. That's assuming you'll still be in pretty close contact with 10-year-old. As long as you stay close, they should be safe. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.